So good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Deepthi from Curious Times, and
Hi, Deepti.
we have Mona Mehdi, ma'am. And yeah, we are really delighted to have you on the occasion of International Women's Day. And welcome to this little chat on today's occasion.
Thank you, Deepti. Good afternoon, and it's a pleasure to be associated, on the occasion of International Women's Day. And as I was saying that break the bias, that's the thing which we all are focusing on. So
Yes,
that's interesting.
yes,
So I think if you can click one pic of it, that would be great.
yes, yes.
Thank you.
Just give me a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this has been the need of the hour, or maybe the slogan. I have been reading it everywhere that this is how
Right,
it's
right,
going to
right,
be.
right.
Over to you,
So
Deepti. Please
yes,
begin.
ma'am. So, we're gonna structure this conversation very short. We'll keep it short because we know we're a little busy right now. Ma'am, first of all, there are just two, three things to talk about. I think first we want to have a conversation about you. You just tell us about yourself. Then maybe tell your little bit of break the bias story while you're talking about yourself because we want to know how you were breaking the biases, right? And then towards the end, maybe you can talk about, who are the women who inspire you and who do you look up to for and have been looking up to for this journey, right? So over to you.
Okay, fine. So then it seems to me like a documentary, and where I talk and then you listen. So
Yeah.
I would appreciate that you interfere in between and then you ask some questions, tricky
Okay,
ones.
sure.
That would be great. That will be, instigating the curious minds.
Yes.
So as your book is and your news line is all about curious times. So Deepti, let me tell you some in short about myself. I'm a very simple, hardworking, committed, sincere, and a person with values and ethics in the system of education for the last 27 years. So I always say that I have spent most of my life, I think entire life in schools. Okay, if you
Okay.
ask me from the time my parents must have admitted me in grade nursery, so
Right.
till date, I'm in the school. So you can see that child in me. I'm sure you would find a chubby cheeks person. And I feel, I just feel so good being in schools, though there were opportunities when I could have moved out and I would have been elsewhere doing something else. I always wanted to be with the students. And I myself, I was a very, you can say a sincere kind of a student. And, but I was naughty. I still have my teachers connected with me and they remember me being, kind of naughty. But that was all the childlike things. Those days, net and internet and access to all these facilities were not there. So we had a childhood in a very different way. And when I see this generation, it's a totally different generation we are handling. But I feel that that's how we have to groom ourselves and grow with the generation. And I'm fortunate. I think I'm doing a decent job understanding the kids who are handling technology. And I've also been with a generation which did not have so much of technical support or influence of technology. So this is a simple thing about me. I believe in the existence of God, a firm believer of that. This generation needs to have people like us because we see that we are becoming so independent, and we have that scientific temperament that we have started questioning everything. And in fact, we do question, we are curious, but in spite of everything, there is something which makes us question. And that is where I believe that there is existence of God. And we at one point of time, the human race is helpless. So that's about me in
Right.
simple nutshell.
Right.
Please.
Now, would you like to talk about your journey now in terms of, breaking the biases? And maybe a few instances or maybe one episode, whatever, comes to your mind. Like, this was different and, I took something in my stride, which is I was breaking.
Okay. Honestly, if you ask me, I did not have to really put in efforts to break the bias. So, the kind of person I am, wherever I went, if you talk about gender bias, I don't think I faced it. I don't remember any incidences of that. And be it any other, I mean, if you really ask me, I did not have any struggle in that, because maybe the kind of person I am, people accepted me with my differences with them, or the way we are. No two individual are alike, be it physically or in the mindset. So I did not have to really struggle. That is something which is there. But yes, I did see that there are people around me who were struggling, and then I did help them out, especially because I have been in the schools, in the teaching fraternity. We do come across a few staff members who at times, they go through these kind of things wherein our motivation and our talks are inspiring to them to take up a career. If I look back and see, I have so many colleagues with whom I have worked who now say, maybe after 10 years, 5 years, that ma'am, it was just because of you I got inspired, and your talks helped me to move out of the four walls and take up the career which I wanted to. So it is there, prevalent there, especially the gender bias. We just cannot say no to it. I have been fortunate, that's a separate thing. And all the four men, I always say, from starting from my father, my brother, my husband, and my son, all the four important men in my family. In fact, they have been very, very supportive. That's where I always say I've been fortunate. And but as I said, that definitely, I mean, with our kind of exposure to the world, the way we meet people, I did help out many. And I, honestly speaking, don't want to quote the names, but yes, there have been people, they had marital, issues, and then the colleague or the friend had to leave the house, came back to us asking for some kind of a motivation. I have always told people one thing, which deeply I think I want to put it on records. We get one life. It's just one life we get, good or bad. We have to use it to the fullest. It's not the circumstances which makes the difference, it's your attitude which makes the difference. There is no one single person I can say has not gone through the rough phase of life, but it's your attitude which makes you move ahead. You can sit the entire life and keep feeling bad about the past. Life has to go on, it will not stop. So I personally feel it's the attitude which you need to have. And if you ask Mr. Chandrasekhar, he will tell you the kind of attitude I have. It's a go-getter's attitude. I have, if I feel, and then, one more thing is there. Unfortunately, we keep looking for getting the credit from people. And that is where I always feel that our growth also gets stopped. Because if you are always looking for validation from others, then you are always looking for validation. You are not going to work. I personally feel you work, validation or no validation, you will get to see the results. This is how I feel, and I always inspire people with these kind of thoughts. And as far as my life is concerned, I have been fortunate not to face too many things. And if you ask me, I mean, people say gender bias. I have been very fortunate. I have never had issues when men would have, the other gender, I should not even say use the word men, the other gender
That's
would have tried not to support me. I have been getting the support of both the genders. So it has been
true.
great journey for me.
So,
Thank you.
yeah, and so I think that's also good, because the fact that you got support from within your family, that solves like a lot of problems. I think there are biases. Maybe this conversation is more, in terms of you've shared your experience, how you were actually encouraging women to continue to work, or helping with the specific issues that they brought through, and fortunately they made you made their life better. It's also to do with the gender roles in the in a household, right? Or it could be to some of the unconscious biases that many of us have, both in terms of gender roles or in terms of how we should look at various things, opportunities, and those are also the biases that we kind of are with, but sort of we don't really realize that they are around us. But yeah, many people actually go through that, and somewhere that shakeup is also required. As a as being an educator yourself, and now the leader of the school that you are, is there something that you also sort of inspire or have discussions or conversations with children, the newer generation? Because children come from diverse backgrounds, families, and then those all the children influence each other in some ways, and how things are to be conducted, or their generations, earlier generations, grandmom or mom telling them something. So how do you bring that to the generation who's like born after the year 2005, maybe? Like now, right now, the kids who are in 12th standard, I'm just thinking that they're born after 2004 or 5, right? So how do you do what kind of things that you ensure that happens, and this kind of thing gets institutionalized, as against one of taking people, people coming to us for opinions, and how we ensure that we translate that to others?
So thank you, Deepti. That's a wonderful question which you have asked. And as you were speaking, I was just thinking of an interesting project that is called Project Kudos. All for one, one for all. That is something which we started in our school. And in this project, all the stakeholders are involved. Okay, so it was a fantastic thing that we did, and to instill the habits. If I mean, definitely our morning assemblies, the kind of gyan that we give as educationists. I do understand this generation. I mean, they must be thinking every day they meet me. I mean, off late we have been through virtual world, but when we were there on the physical world, they used to think, oh, now ma'am is going to give us some tips on this and that. So it's but natural. It is there in our system. We can't just, it's in our blood. So we just
Mhm.
can't forego that. So that was one part of it. But then with this project Kudos, it so happened that we all the stakeholders, when I say it, is the students, the parents, the teaching and non-teaching staff members, and the management. So all of us are there together. And so we sit first, we sat together and we identified groups, and then we came up with the we picked up values and virtues. Okay, so it's expected that students show discipline, respect to elders, and they should be on time, regularity, punctuality, all those things are adjectives, all these, big words, so we have kept them. And the same is applicable for the teachers, for other staff members. So how it went about is, suppose, a student has shown respect towards the teacher. Okay, the teacher will give a card. There's a card. We gamified the entire concept of values and virtues. So the teacher gives the card to the child. Okay, and the child keeps the card. So it goes throughout the year. And at the day end, at the not day end exactly, weekend, you have to give those cards, and we have those barcodes and all used to scan, and the whole entire school's thing is there. So Mona gets, if you give, that means you have appreciated a value and a virtue in a child, you will also get 1 point. It's like all for one, one for all. So you will also get, and the person who gets the card, that person also gets the credit for it. So then it used to be, there were barcodes and scan it. And then at the end of the year, it was such an amazing thing that the values and virtues which we wanted to inculcate in the young minds through different ways, it becomes a part of the system.
Right.
They are now at if you practice anything, they say that for 21 days or 40 days maximum it takes, and it becomes a part. So it becomes that. And when you ask that, how do you put it across the children? So this was the best way we could find out. And it was not alone for the students. I mean, we see that the generation has changed. Even the parents have changed. You know, the young parents, their approach is different. The teachers have changed. Earlier, we were teachers. We had a different set mindset, and now things have changed. And to put everything in track, this is the best way we felt that we can do. Besides this, definitely, I mean, for me, I'm known that a student can walk into my room easily more than anyone else. So the doors are always open for a student. The reason I always feel that it takes courage to walk into a principal's room.
Very
And a
true.
student, if a student has that courage, that means there's something serious which needs to be addressed
Address.
immediately.
Mm.
So that's how, I mean, my at my reception near my office, they know if a child has come, immediately I get a call that, ma'am, this child is wanting to meet you. Please send the child. So it's like that. I mean, we have breakfast with kids, we have these kind of initiatives wherein we just discuss. And I have my, the students know that they can reach out to the principal. They write letters to me, they write mails to me. It's so fascinating. For
Right.
these 2 years when we have not been in touch physically, I used to get mails from the students from grade 1 2. You know,
Right.
nothing more
True.
than can be more
Yes.
satisfying for me to have that connect with the students.
Right.
That's it, Dikti.
So, ma'am, without taking too much of your time, if you could also help us, like, talk about a few people who actually inspired you to become who you are, like, and those inspiration, if they are women, yes, talk about them, as well, because for the International Women's Day, I think as a part of this conversation, this will be a gratitude to all those people who made you the person you are.
When you talk about the person who influenced me and made me what I am today, I think the only one person which comes to my mind is my mother, a
Mm.
very modest, simple lady uh, with values and virtues. She, I think that's one person I look up. I'm a reflection of my mother. She was, I mean, she came from a royal family, and but those days education was till, if you have education till grade 12th, it was good, too good for them. So she was, I think, she had education till grade 12. She was a very well-read lady. My entire life, when I look as a child, we have been hearing stories of values and virtues. And I mean, the kind of culture we had, like my grandfather was a renowned Urdu poet. So the kind of culture which we had in house was, for anything good, we used to recite 2 lines. And I have grown up with that. The next thing which I felt is, I mean, I have seen in this generation that, I mean, with no harsh feelings, but the fact is that children also look up, like, the mothers should be they have comparison. If the parents are comparing, we see the children also comparing their parents with other parents. We have all this in the office, and then we have to counsel them that everyone is a different person. Uh, I think my mother was the most modest person I have known. Simple, yet firm. Values were there, taught never with strictness. It was a system. It was a system which was followed in the house. So there was nothing that was taught separately or thing. And the honesty, the integrity, the way to have human relations, the way to respect people. I still remember we had a maid. I'm talking about when I was in grade 12th, and I think I need to put this in record. When I was in grade 12th, so we had a maid who was there, and she was staying in one kind of a nearby servant quarters in our house, and a dog had bit the child of that maid. And that maid, all of a sudden, we all heard the cries, and my mother, she just rushed, and the child was bleeding because there was a dog bite severe. She just hugged the mother and child, and she was like holding them. I still have those memories, that was the kind of values which we were taught by seeing. There were no classes conducted to have, no, you have to do this, this, this. No,
Right.
we knew that this is it. we have to follow this. Until now, like I'm 50 years and I have elder siblings, we all discuss about her and we say what a kind of person she was. We never realized when she was there. I mean, she's no more. And we didn't realize that everything came from her. It
Yeah,
was so softly
totally,
put in.
totally.
So
I think
I think
it's just that examples that you see early on which just stay with
yes.
you, right? Right. That's
But
awesome.
we were
And
not taught that okay, seeing is believing, set up a, kind of an aura where your child imbibes. I think that's where seeing, and we were just practicing it.
right,
That's how
right,
it is. So
right.
it's my mother. I'm a reflection of my mother, I would just say that.
Right, right. So, ma'am, you said something about saying two Urdu verse or some
Oh,
poetry. So, I want to end this, and I want you to give us some bit of Urdu poetry for our audience, for your audience. I don't know, related or unrelated is also fine.
related.
Related to
Mm,
break the bias or whatever, but unrelated is also fine, giving sort of gratitude to the women or the women who inspired you, your mother, that would like be really nice.
I honestly, I'm a little blank right now. I mean, I'm just thinking how to correlate the whole thing. But just recently on the International Language Mother Tongue Day,
Mother tongue
we
day.
had just on the 21st of February. So
Yes.
I get a call from one of the RJ. He says that, ma'am, you have to speak something. It's your International Mother Tongue Day. So that is still there in my mind. If you permit,
Yes, yes, please.
I would say,
Yes.
okay. It was. जहाँ चोट खाना वहीं मुस्कुराना, जहाँ चोट खाना वहीं मुस्कुराना, मगर इस अदा से कि रोदे जमाना, फल्क से कह दो, फल्क से कह दो सर्द कर ली जहन्नुम, जमाने को खुद फूंक देगा जमाना. That's it.
Wonderful, 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 ma'am. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
This is really nice. And maybe if you get time, you can, if you know how to send it in Urdu also, that is fine because we publish a lot of content which is non-English also. So
Okay.
people have written in Tamil and, Kannada in the past. So if you can send it in Urdu also, it will be wonderful. If you could send it in Hindi would be
I'll send
wonderful.
it.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I just remember one more thing, which I had again narrated on Mother's Day,
Right.
because she's my mother is
Yes,
no
yes,
more,
yes.
and again they asked me to say. Then I had recited these two lines that हादसों से वो मुझे अभी भी बचा लेती हैं, हादसों से वो मुझे अभी भी बचा लेती हैं, उनकी दुआएं हमें जीने की वजह देती हैं.
Hmm.
That's it.
That's wonderful.
So thank you. I
Yeah.
think we can close on this
Yes,
note.
on that wonderful two, lines, I think we close it. But I am very happy that you joined us, and thank you
Thanks so
so
much.
much for this lovely poetry. Also, it becomes part
Thank
of our
you.
memories with you, and we
Sure.
look forward to working with you and the institute forever. So, thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah,
And
it
God
is
bless and
international.
break the bias.
Yes, I want to
Break the
click one
bias.
more picture, right? I'll click one more
Sure.
picture in case the earlier one wasn't okay. So yeah,
Okay.
can you just like,
Break the bias.
yes,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
All
you.
the best.
Yes,
Take
thank you
care.
so much. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.